I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. Check your thermometer, it's starting to read summer. Join me today as I show you some hot recipes that will also keep you cool. I'm all about cool food today here on SoFlo Taste. This is South Florida. It's where I live and work. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. South Florida is more than sun, sand, and sea. It's a lifestyle of fashion, sound, culture, and of course, food. Food with taste from all over the world. Join me as we celebrate the food of South Florida and the people who love it. Join me as we experience SoFlo Taste. Hi, I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein from my restaurant Cena by Michi on beautiful Biscayne Boulevard and Northeast 69th Street. Come have supper with us some night. Look, I'm clearly not a meteorologist, but I don't have to be one to forecast a hot summer is coming. In fact, I think it's already here. So I thought it would be fun to show you some of my go-to recipes to help keep your cool during our SoFlo summer. So I'll meet you in my kitchen so we can get cooking. So for the first recipe, I'm going to make my absolute favorite chilled soup in the whole wide world. It's a type of a gazpacho called Sal Morocco. It is a beautiful soup, a little bit thicker than your typical gazpacho, thanks to a little bit more bread and olive oil. So I'm gonna get started. The one thing you have to do is peel your tomatoes. So these are what we like to call concassé tomatoes. They are peeled and somewhat seeded. There's a couple seeds in there, it doesn't really matter, but basically you just put a little X on the bottom of the tomato, take the core out, put them into boiling water for literally 10 seconds and then in ice water, peel comes right off. So that's what we have here. So all the tomatoes go into your blender, along with a couple of cloves of garlic. I don't overdo the garlic. I want this to be kind of subtle. I don't really want to take the garlic with me everywhere I go. A little bit of sherry vinegar. And this is a day or two old baguette. If you can see, it's kind of stiff and stale. And then I'm just going to add a little touch of cold water just to make that blender go. A little bit of kosher salt and black pepper, and I finish it with some sea salt. So I'm going to turn this back on, put it on high, and then I'm going to drizzle in olive oil until it's ready. The one thing about Sal Morocco I did not mention is that it's a lot more pale in color, and that obviously is because of the addition of all that olive oil and bread. I'm just going to taste it, make sure it's where I want it to be. Wow, it's delicious. It needs some more salt. And I'm going to add the tiniest bit more vinegar, which will probably take us right to a tablespoon. Okay. And that's it. Can you believe how easy that is? Now, this is a beautiful soup, and if you pour it into a beautiful glass pitcher, is even more beautiful. And that way you can chill it and serve it to your guests tableside, and it's just gorgeous. So here I have a little pretty bowl. Soup is nice and thick. Traditionally in Spain, as a garnish, they use hard-boiled eggs and a little fine julienne of jamon serrano to give you that saltiness and creaminess from the egg. So I'm going to give you a little bit of that julienne jamon serrano right over the top. And then I've also brought with me some hard-boiled quail eggs, which, by the way, you can find quail eggs at any good grocery store. Maybe one more half. I love odd numbers. Right in the center. And then I'll top that with a little drizzle of really good oil. In Spain, one of the most important things is great extra virgin oil, so we always have it around. And there you go, our first dish, which is absolutely cooling and delicious and satisfying, Sal Morocco. And voila, Sal Morocco, I'll see you in a minute. Now remember, you can always find this and all of the recipes that I do here on SoFlo Taste at SoFloTaste.com and of course on our Facebook page. SoFlo Taste will return right after this. Welcome back to the Chillin' Show. We're keeping cool here today at Senna by Mishi's Kitchen. So the next thing I'm going to teach you is, it's called Tuna Poke. We make a lot of tuna tartare here in South Florida, but you don't see a lot of tuna poke, which is almost the same thing, but not. Poke basically means something that's kind of chopped up and mixed up. So here I'm going to show you the Hawaiian style, the true Hawaiian style of poke. So obviously the most important part of this is tuna. This is tuna from Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. You have to ask for sushi grade A, the best quality tuna available. This coloring is a natural, beautiful red from a really beautiful, very large tuna loin. I can only imagine how big this fish was, which is something, by the way, we don't see very often, is whole tunas. So I'm going to cut that up. I have an ice, a little crushed ice with a bowl over it. Always when you're mixing cold things like this that stay cold and raw, I always recommend a very clean cutting board and ice. So I'm going to cut this into pieces that are a little bit bigger than our typical tuna tartare that we make here. So I'm going to take each piece. They're nice big diced pieces for poke. And what I love about this is literally you go from the cutting board into your tummy because you want to eat this right away. This is usually something that we make for our appetizer before dinner, and we nibble on it in the kitchen as I'm making the main course. So nice diced pieces that are always even. All right, so simple ingredients you can get at any Asian market and probably any good market too. A very small dice of yellow onion. You can use scallions instead or both, but I personally like the sweet yellow onion the best. Wakame, which is a seasoned seaweed salad, already prepared and seasoned. A lot of you see this in Japanese restaurants when you order it as an appetizer, and it's delicious. And that is a big part of the tuna poke flavor. It already has a little sesame flavoring to it. Now, I'll add a little bit of soy sauce. Not too much, you can always add more later. A little bit of sesame oil. Again, don't overdo it. And chili sauce, this is kind of up to you. I don't use much, but you get your balance. Mix it up. And before serving it, always taste it. Make sure it's where you want it to be. And if you want, when the guests sit down, you can serve them little sides of the chili oil and the soy. So there's a couple things you can do. You can throw little rice crackers next to it. I love potato chips with my tuna poke. And I also brought some of this stuff. This is called rice seasoning. It's a Japanese topping for rice. It's sesame seeds, hard-cooked egg, and seaweed. And this over the top is just beautiful. You can find this at any good Asian market in South Florida. So I put a little bit of that right on top. And then, I don't know, my husband and I kind of just keep a bowl around and some chips, and we dig in and we enjoy our poke together. So good. So who doesn't love sangria during the warm months of our late spring and summer? And in Argentina, we actually do two types of sangria. One is red and one is white. The white is actually called clerico, and it's one of my absolute favorite drinks. I've been drinking it since I was probably too young to drink. So what's great about clerico is that you can pretty much use any summer fruit. You can even use bananas, which are in here, strawberries, which I forgot about. This has oranges, pears, different kinds of apples, of course, 2 kinds of grapes, and those bananas. Just have fun with it. And when it gets later into summer, start using peaches and plums and nectarines and apricots. It just gets the better the later in the summer it gets. So to flavor this, I'm going to add a little bit of sugar to the fruit, the zest of oranges and lemons, a little bit of lemon juice, some nice white wine. Not too dry, not too fruity. This one is a Vouvray, a Chenin Blanc Vouvray. Delicious wine. Obviously, you're not going to spend too much money on your wine because you are adding it to so many different flavors. And then let me mix this up really good. You want everything to settle. Now this would be a lot better if we put this in the fridge for a little while, and right before you serve it, open up a can of Sprite or 7-Up and do a little floater so that it has just a little bit of bubbly in it. Give it one little mix and then serve. So to serve sangria or clerico, take some of the fruit out into glasses with ice. There we go. And then pour in your clerico. I'm just going to do one since I'm alone right now, and I'll see you all in a few minutes. Salud, besos, and to a very, very good summer to all of us. For more information on today's show, or to see a previous episode, or just to ask me a question, please go to our website, SoFloTaste.com. It's your one-stop shop for everything SoFlo Taste.
I'm Melinda Harper on the road with SoFlo Taste for Vera Cadillac, and we're here in Davie at Winn-Dixie, cooking with Curtis. Celebrity chef Curtis Stone, that is. Let's see what Curtis is cooking up. Well, I followed my nose and I smelled this exquisite scent. I'm here with my good friend Chef Curtis Stone. Hi, Curtis.
How you doing?
What are we making today?
So I thought what I'd do is make a beautiful steak salad for you. It's
Okay.
The perfect way to cook a piece of steak is on a grill. We're indoors, so I brought an indoor grill. I'm going to show you how to do it.
Okay.
You ready?
I am ready.
First thing
Show
you
me
need
what to do.
Season it up with salt, right? And be quite generous because you're sort of allowing for the interior of the meat as well.
Okay.
So a real quick season, and then you can give it a quick brush of olive oil.
Got it.
Just like that. And then it goes onto a nice hot grill.
Got it.
Now next we take some asparagus, because don't forget, you can throw these babies straight on the grill as well.
No
right?
seasoning.
No seasoning whatsoever. And then you just take a little bit of that olive oil and just put just the smallest little drizzle. And they're going to caramelize up and go beautiful too. We forget that you can grill vegetables as well, but you really can. It's why I wrote my Winn-Dixie grilling guide.
Got it.
Which is the little Bible that teaches you everything about grilling meats and seafood, fish, all sorts of vegetables. It's really, really simple.
That's going to come in handy for a lot of people. You would think
Sure
in
will.
South Florida we'd be excellent grillers, but I'm here to tell you, we
No?
make a lot of mistakes.
So while that's working, we let that go.
Okay.
And then we're going to make the dressing for our salad, because I've thrown together just some arugula, a little bit of pecorino, you could use Parmigiano Reggiano, some fresh tomatoes, so just some fresh summery things.
Delicious and simple.
Really simple. Just a little bit of lemon juice.
A little bit of lemon juice.
Okay, so you start whisking.
Sure.
And I've got some extra virgin olive oil.
Yes.
And this is how simple a dressing is. So you whisk nice and fast, and basically you're emulsifying the acid, which is the lemon juice, into the fat, which is the olive oil.
Okay.
I went ahead and cheated, and I cooked a couple of steaks while you were parking up outside, because you know
Yes.
what? Here's a really important part to cooking a great piece of steak. You need to let it rest for half the amount of time it takes to cook it.
Okay.
So if you cook it for 5, you rest it for?
2.5.
Yeah, that's
Good
it.
at
You
math.
got it.
Okay.
It's really easy. You take your dressing straight over your salad. Don't overdress it,
Okay.
just like that. Next, you get your beautiful grilled steak. When we cut it, what you're going to find is it's going to be beautiful and pink, right? And
Very
see,
nice.
Isn't
yeah.
that beautiful?
Beautiful.
See, the juice isn't running out of it, and that's what you want. You want to sort of keep those natural juices inside. What do you like to grill?
Chicken, some shrimp on the Barbie every now and then.
Yep.
No?
You've got to get some of my recipes. I've been writing these recipes for Winn-Dixie, so we call it Cooking with Curtis for Under 10.
Yes.
And the idea is You can feed a family of 4 for less than 10 bucks when you get the ingredients and just follow the easy recipes.
Right.
I'm writing a grilling guide. I'm in the middle of writing a beef guide, which will hit stores a little later on. And some of these recipes will be in that. Are you ready to taste some of this?
I am ready to taste some of this.
Yeah. Okay, so next time you're cooking outdoors and you're inviting people around, a little bit of a steak salad, try some asparagus.
I'm gonna knock my friend's socks off. It's delicious.
It's good, isn't it?
Amazing.
Thank you. Leave us alone for a minute, please.
Welcome back to the coolest show on television. I am here cooling you down. This is our last dish today, and it is one of my favorite Peruvian dishes, and it's called Causa. Delicious dish, mainly consists of potatoes, up to you what you want to fill it with, but it's just wonderful. So we cooked some Yukon Gold potatoes ahead in just some water with a pinch of salt. That's what they look like. They've all been peeled and chopped, and they just got pulled off the stove and drained. And we're gonna mash them up. Peru being so rich in incredible potatoes, so many different kinds. And this is one of my favorite dishes used to show off their potatoes. It's kind of like the best potato salad you'll ever have. I'm gonna do that one more time. So today I've chosen to fill your causa with poached shrimp or shrimp kind of cocktail. It's just so easy. You can buy good shrimp, poach it off, or you can even buy cooked shrimp. It's up to you how much time you want to save. All right. So we've started with beautiful Yukon Gold mashed potato. They're already pretty in yellow, but we're going to make it even prettier in yellow by adding a little bit of ají amarillo. Yellow chili paste from Peru. You can buy the paste, or you can make paste with the yellow chilies, but either way, you have to get Peruvian yellow chilies, which we have a lot of great Peruvian markets down here in South Florida. Just look them up and you can find them. But they're starting to sell ají amarillo even in Publix. They have them in all kinds of regular good grocery stores down here because we use so much of this stuff. I'm going to add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, the juice of some limes. Actually, this is pretty much just going to be like 1 lime. And of course, a little bit of salt to balance all that out. Okay, mix that up real good. Let's see where it takes us. That's the beauty about food. You never really know where it's going to go until you're there. And this adds just that beautiful yellow hue from the ají amarillo. That's beautiful. All right, so that is the beginning of our dish. Use a little mold. You don't have to. You can actually free-form it. It's really up to you. So I'm going to add potato to the bottom of the ring mold. So for the middle of my causa, like I told you, I've decided to use a little bit of shrimp. So these are cooked off shrimp, tails off, deveined, cut in half lengthwise, like that. So I'm actually going to make a little Russian dressing or mayonnaise and ketchup, a little hot sauce. You don't have to do that. If you want, you can just do a little bit of lime juice. But I don't know, man, we Latins love creamy, so I've decided to make this dressing for my shrimp. Add a little bit of lime. Great. So I'm going to mix that into the shrimp, not too much of it, and then add a little bit of fresh cilantro and large sea salt. Mix that up. Now remember, I want the shrimp to shine, so I didn't add a lot of that dressing to the shrimp, just to barely coat it. So that is the next kind of layer in our causa. Excuse my hands, but you're not going to eat this. I am, and layer just like so. Press it in a little bit. Next is to top it off with more potato. Now, like I said, this is best cold. While it sits in your fridge, it just accumulates more flavor, and the colder, the better. So, I don't know, it's still warm. Let's see if it should work. So there you have a beautiful causa, and for the top, I'm gonna top it off with some fresh avocado, and traditionally they use hard-boiled eggs, and I have those quail eggs from earlier. So some pretty avocado. Just like so. arrange a couple of quail eggs, if I can get them in there. I've loaded it pretty good. One here and one here. And then of course, just a drizzle of some of this extra virgin oil right over the top of that. And finally, some big salt. And there you have a beautiful shrimp causa, a little bit spicy, but refreshing and delicious that you can make any time of year, but especially now. Thanks for joining me today on SoFlo Taste. I hope these recipes will help keep your cool this summer. And we'll get a chance to test these cooling recipes out next week when we go outside for a hot Memorial Day cookout. Now stay tuned to Local 10 for SoFlo Home Project. Have a great week, and I'll see you next Saturday for a cookout here on SoFlo Taste. Salud! Be cool.